is going on, my friends? And welcome, welcome, welcome. I am your host, your friend, your homie, Arrington Gavin, and you are tuning into the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for the sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day. Whether it's politics, pop culture, sports, or the latest buzz, we're diving deep and keeping it real. So kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. Yes, yes. So look, another great episode, guys. For those who are new to the program, as I mentioned here on the Arrington Gavin Show, we talk a little bit about everything, right? We talk a little bit about everything. We share our unfiltered opinion, whether if it's politics, sports, pop culture, the whole 9 yards. We discuss it here on the Arrington Gavin Show. We don't hold anything back. We welcome all people, as long as you don't promote hate towards an individual or specific group. We don't allow that. So yes, another great day, another great show. I'm very excited for those who continue to support the program. We have a lot to discuss on today's show. We're going to be bringing up Grammy award winning songwriter, producer, hype man, gospel legend Kirk Franklin. He happened to call out certain people within the Christian community for their involvement and relationship with former President Donald Trump, as well as another award-winning artist, Kanye West. Well, he goes by Ye now. So I'm going to share a little bit about that, as well as Colin Kaepernick. Yeah, you remember that guy? Yeah, Colin Kaepernick, former NFL star turned activist. He is still keeping hope alive for his NFL career. Yikes. Okay, it's been some years. So I'll share a little bit about that as well. Of course, we'll talk a little bit of politics, and we'll see how we're looking with time, so I can share a little bit other things as well. So we are very excited. We're going to be sharing some new things as well coming forth in the future here on the Arrington Gavin Show. But before I move on, I have to mention where you can continue to listen and tune into the program. So you can tune into new episodes every evening on all the digital and streaming airwaves. You can follow us on Instagram at the Arrington Gavin Show. You can also listen to us on the radio waves weeknights at 11 p.m. on WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk, as well as WDJYFM.com. Wherever you get your podcast, you can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show, as well as on YouTube and Rumble. So our YouTube channel is R Smooth Club Media, the letter R, and then Smooth Club Media, as well as Rumble at the Arrington Gavin Show. So we have multiple avenues where you can continue to tune in, and people are texting me at the moment and calling me, so losing my train of thoughts. But there's so many ways you can continue to support the program and tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. Also, before we move forward, I always have to acknowledge some of our proud supporters of the Arrington Gavin Show, like Bernardo's Menswear. That's right, Bernardo's Menswear keeps you looking swagged out from head to toe. Business casual, formal, you name it. He has all the latest threads to help you just keep that confidence going. Because you know what I always say, when you have on some nice clothes and they fit good and you look perfect in them, it helps build your confidence, right? So Bernardo's Menswear, if you happen to be in the Hampton Roads, Virginia area, you can visit him in person at his store location over in the MacArthur Mall, located in the heart of downtown Norfolk, first floor. Tell them Arrington sent you. And you can also shop online at www.bernardomenswear.com. Again, that's bernardosmenswear.com. Let's see here. We are going to have a quick commercial break, but don't go anywhere. We'll come back with our fun fact of the day. Again, you're listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. Don't go anywhere, my friends.
Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Order our scented beard oils and beard balms to help you maintain and grow the perfect beard. Order today. Try our men's care products like the full body exfoliating cleansing bars, body wash, smooth stash, and more. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. We're your luxury but affordable men's care line. And remember,
rugged is the new smooth.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. You're listening to the Arrington Gavin Show again here on WDJY 99.1 FM, straight talking and all digital and streaming platforms as well. Okay, we're going to start off first with our fun fact of the day. As you know, it's our newest segment that everyone is starting to talk about. We bring up a fun fact that not a lot of you probably are familiar with or even knew. Like myself, I didn't know this stuff. So I just, talk it off the bat. So let's see here. Our fun fact of the day is, did you know that dogs tilt their heads when you speak to them to better pinpoint familiar words? Did you know? Did you know? It says here that your dog is tilting its head when you speak to it to pinpoint where noises are coming from more quickly. This is done to listen out more accurately for familiar words such as walkies, and helps them to better understand the tone of your voice. If a dog doesn't tilt its head that often, it's because it relies less on sound and more on sight. So, for all you dog lovers out there, for all you dog owners out there, hey, look, I hope you enjoyed that pinpoint, that fun fact of the day. So we're going to get it started with our first story of the day. I want to bring up, because we had run out of time on the last show, and I had about two stories that I wanted to throw out there before, but I didn't have the time, so I made sure I wanted to talk about it today. The first story I want to bring up is comedian, let's see, Roy Wood Jr. That's right, Roy Wood Jr. He signs with CNN. So if a lot of you don't know Roy Wood Jr., he's a very popular, well-known comedian, host. He's also a correspondent of the hit show The Daily Show that was hosted by Trevor Noah. He was there throughout Trevor Noah's whole time that he was on that program. And Roy Wood played a huge role in that multi-time award-winning bunch. I mean, Roy Wood, I've known him before he was even on the Daily Show, and he's always been a funny guy. He has some specials on Comedy Central, and I'm like, who is this guy? And he really is a talented individual. I believe Roy Wood even did the presidential dinner that a lot of comedians always will host or MC, basically when they roast, like the political roast battle. And so he was a part of that as well. And so recently it was announced that he will be hosting an upcoming show on CNN. As you know, CNN has been hurting for ratings for quite some time. When you look at the viewership numbers and like who's at top right now, it's Fox News. Sadly, they are number one. And I have a little conspiracy theory on why they are number one. First of all, Fox owns like everything. Okay, they own Tubi, they own FX, they own FS1, they own Fox News, they own most of the local news outlets is owned by Fox. They own all majority of talk radio stations out there. I mean, they even own channels outside the country. So they own everything. So of course they're gonna be having so many views. I mean, that's just my opinion. But it's anyway, CNN has been hurting with ratings, and they keep on testing out new shows, seeing what works, what doesn't, throwing on the wall, see which one sticks in a sense. And they had done that. I think it all started, I'll say, when Chris Cuomo was let go. When Chris Cuomo was let go, you started to see a drop with the ratings. You did, because he had one of the most higher rated shows on the program. And then when they left, they're like, "Ooh, who's gonna fill in for Chris? It's gonna be difficult." Now it's basically all Don Lemon at the time, because he was the big voice on the primetime slot. So once Chris was let go, then Don Lemon at the time was moved from his regular primetime slot to morning, because they were starting like almost like a simulation of Morning Joe, which is on MSNBC. So you got three voices, three hosts, and seeing which one works. So they had tested that out. That obviously didn't work. And then Don Lemon was let go. Okay, you got two prominent voices on that channel. It's now let go. So they then will say, okay, they went with Gayle King and Charles Barkley. They said, okay, Charles and Gayle will host a weekly show at a random day every Wednesday nights. So they went with that, seeing how that was going. the debut was poorly. The show, it was all right, but it just didn't make sense. Honestly, the only success of that show was the name. The name was spot on, King Charles. It was perfect, right? Because you had Gail King, you had Charles Barkley, so it made sense calling it King Charles. But it just didn't succeed ratings wise. So that show ended up getting canceled. Then they said, okay, let's bring on comedian Bill Maher, host of Real Time. He also has his own podcast called Club Random, which is very popular. I highly recommend it. Check it out. And they said, okay, let's bring him on because Bill Maher is a guy that is liberal, but you almost wouldn't know what side of the aisle he leans towards because he criticizes really all parties, but he makes it very fair in his program, and I think that's fair to viewership and to voters out there to have fairness and not just attacking one side or the other, right? That's the line where I roll in, and so they added Bill Maher. I think his overtime segment on his show was at the time aired Friday nights on CNN, and that was really just like for 5 or 10 extra minutes. It wasn't long at all. Then they said, okay, we're gonna do reruns of his show Real Time, which is on HBO. Now HBO is owned by Warner Brothers Discovery. Okay, Max, that huge streaming platform, that's owned by HBO is owned by that. CNN is owned by that, so that's where you see a lot of streaming shows from CNN is played on Max, and it's actually helping because the streaming numbers is the future, right? Cable linear television is slowly but surely going away, but a lot of major networks are creating streaming services just to still keep the lights on cable because everybody's still going to rely on cable and vice versa. But I will say streaming is more popular, more the new thing. So Bill Maher's on there. That's he's doing reruns of a show on weekends every Saturdays, and now they're adding Roy Wood Jr. Now I'm very excited about this because years ago, one of my favorite comedians, DL Hughley, had a program on there years ago, and DL is one of my all-time favorite comedians, favorite voices on radio. He's a guy that I always admire, and he had a program on there that was very how can I say, it was on the edge, right? They're like, ooh, can he say that? Can he say that on cable TV? Well, he already did it again. It didn't last long, but to me, I felt like that was a prominent show because he's a very prominent voice, especially on the in the Democratic Party. He's a very, very passionate liberal, and he's he speaks it on his program as well. So hearing about Roy Wood Jr., I think is very, very dope. The show he's going to be hosting, this is reported, by the way, by The Griot, a black-owned media company. Roy Wood Jr. says here, Roy Wood Jr. host Have I Got News for You, coming on CNN, happening very soon. And he quotes, kudos to CNN and the immigrants at Hat Trick Productions for bringing a black job to the States. Again, hilarious, right? So as I read more of this article, it says here he is returning to TV screens. CNN has tapped the comedian who served as the Daily Show correspondent from 2015 to 2023 to host its comedy panel show, Have I Got News for You. Ooh, lost my notes. Hold on. Bear with me, guys. Where you at? Okay, here we go. And it says here, according to the Hollywood Reporter, the show is the cable news outlet's version of the long-running BBC show airing since 1990. That's right, my friends. It says here, CNN announced in May that it'll be developing a U.S. version of Have I Got News for You, which features 2 teams of panelists answering questions about the week's news. Wood shared his excitement about the show in a statement, jokingly referring the new gig as a black job in reference to Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump's use of the term during the June debate with President Joe Biden. And so, again, very excited for this. It says here as well, for far too long, immigrants have been coming to America and taking black jobs. Kudos to CNN and the immigrants at Hat Trick Productions for bringing black jobs to the States, Wood said. Now, it is an honor to be a part of such a hallowed British institution to help make sense of the American Institution of Chaos, name calling, disinformation, reality television in the 8-hour news cycle. CNN's version of Have I Got News for You will feature two team captains who the network will announce closer to the show's premiere date. Now, on BBC's version of the comedy quiz show, the panelists consist of comedians, entertainers, and political figures. So I think this will be a big ups for CNN. I'm a huge fan of Roy Wood Jr. He's smart, he's fair, he's hilarious. I hope this will work. And on top of that, too, they picked the right day to have it. Do it on the weekends. Weekdays to me are always your news. Keep it all newsworthy. Weekends, you want to keep it on the news from maybe morning to, I'll say, 5 or 7 p.m. right, and then after that, boom, the rest keep it either documentaries or something humor related, right? Fox is doing it. They have their morning slate of shows of news programs, and then I think starting at either 7 or 8, then they'll have their opinionated shows and then at 10 they will have their comedy based opinionated shows. It really makes sense. So now MSNBC is different. They'll throw in a couple of docu-series programs. CNN does a lot of documentaries later in the evening. Now News Nation, they'll just play reruns of their latest primetime show, right? So and I like the growth that they're having. So again, kudos to CNN for doing this. I'm very excited, looking forward to seeing this program. The world can use more laughter. I'll say that, easy. We need more laughter. So again, congrats to Roy Wood Jr. on the new program and signing with CNN. We will look forward to seeing how this would be. And I'll follow with that a little more. So before we move on to our next story of the day, I have to acknowledge another proud supporter of the Arrington Gavin Show, like Ingenious Gin. Ingenious Gin is a Black-owned, veteran-owned spirit brand with a rose gold complexion. I've always told you the average gin complexion is clear. Now, I'm not really a gin kind of guy, but they made a believer out of me. They said, look, Arrington, try. I'm like, okay, let me try it. It was smooth. It was delicious. Let me say something. It was delicious. And again, I'm not a gin kind of guy, more of a bourbon whiskey, but this one right here was sharp. And I'm like, oh my goodness, guys, you're on something with this. So again, I have to acknowledge Ingenious Gin. Okay, we here on this program, we support our veterans. Ingenious Gin. So all you gin connoisseurs out there, go to your local Spirit or ABC stores, grab yourself a bottle. And if you can't find it, go online to www.ingeniousgin.com. As you see, if you're watching this program right now, you see the code that I've left right here on the screen below. For those who are listening, look, you're gonna have to watch our video version of this program to get that code. You would receive 20% off at checkout from ingeniousgin.com. And just gotta again shout them out. Black-owned, veteran-owned spirit. And please do me a favor, drink responsibly. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Don't go anywhere, my friends. And do me a favor, please don't change that dial. All right, my friends, welcome back to the Arrington Gavin Show. I am your host, Arrington Gavin. Thank you so much for listening to the program. Again, available on all digital and streaming platforms, YouTube, Rumble, as well as all podcast platforms. And shout out to our friends at WDJY 99.1 FM out of Dallas, Georgia, and WDJYFM.com, which you can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights at 11 p.m. So be sure to do that. All right, next up, our story. I thought this was interesting. One of my favorite gospel artists, which he really can't sing. He's He's talented as I don't know what. He writes. He plays an instrument, plays multiple instruments. He's written for many artists. He's a multi-time Grammy Award-winning artist, gospel artist. I'm talking about Kirk Franklin, right? He's a man that's always been changing the narrative in gospel music through his music, through his style, through his swag, the way he approached himself. Like if you see him now, the man wears like sleeveless sweaters at gospel concerts. And from back then, it's like, whoa, what is he? What messages he sending? What in the world? Like he's not your ordinary gospel artist. He likes to be on the edge a little bit, but he's cool because again, that's the transition. That's the narrative that's always going to be shared throughout the years, especially, as myself as a believer, I've seen the transition as far as like, what was appropriate to wear at church, right? For us guys, there's churches that are like, okay, you have to come in with a suit and tie, dressed to a T, because you have that term, your Sunday's best, right? Your Sunday best. That can be with your attire, that could be how you perform with your praise and worship team, vice versa. So a lot changes. But I thought this was interesting because Kirk Franklin was recently on the Cam Newton podcast, and Cam Newton, former NFL star, Heisman Trophy winner, Rookie of the Year. I mean, awesome individual, businessman as well. I think he did maybe like 11, 12 years in the NFL, but he's now on the streaming circuit. Has multiple programs, and they are successful. I will say they are very successful. And so he was recently on Cam Newton's podcast, and Kirk Franklin had said that he criticized certain individuals within the Christian community for those who supported people like Donald Trump, even Kanye West, which I totally agree, because I was that individual to say, okay, who allowed Kanye West to perform at what is Lakewood church, the church that the senior pastor Joel Osteen, Kanye West used to do these like Sunday services performance where he has a big choir and they'll perform gospel music. And now look, I truly believe people can always change. People can always I believe in second chances. Kanye got that, his second chances was like 20 years ago. So I'm just at this day and age, I'm like, I'm sorry, you all are scammed, because Kanye can do a performance on Sunday, act a fool Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then come back be like, oh, no, I'm tired of it. So I'm very happy that Kirk said something about it, because I've been saying clear as day, the man needs help. And I don't want to even share how my thoughts on Donald Trump. You already know how I feel about that. So let me go ahead and play this soundbite that Kirk Franklin had to say for those that didn't question former President Donald Trump, as well as Kanye West. The article, this is reported by the Jasmine brand. It says Kirk Franklin blasts Christian community for supporting Donald Trump without questioning his problematic lifestyle. So again, let me play this soundbite, and then I'll continue to share my thoughts on this. So hold on real tight, my friends.
When we identify that you're with us, everybody like, yo, boom, that's what it is. But then to leave, what happened? And I think that happens more times than not.
Yeah. And I think that some of that is it's also our fault. I think that we, including myself, I think that historically there is this close affiliation with Black culture, Black Christianity, and Black celebrity, where they all become this synonymous space of how we exist, because we don't have a lot of heroes. We don't have a lot of heroes. And so sometimes when somebody acknowledges or says anything that they're Christian or represent their faith, everybody in the Christian community wants to jump on it. And you also see that even in the white community, even in the white Christian community. You know, if Donald Trump says that he's a Christian, then all the evangelicals vote for him, even though there are so many things about his life and lifestyle that are problematic to the Christian ideal. You know, we are so thirsty as Christians. We're so thirsty for attention that we'll tag on to anybody that gives a little bit of hint that they rock with us, that we don't do life with them. We just kind of rest in their celebrity. And I saw it firsthand many times with Kanye. I saw many times with Kanye that because he's such a talent, he's such a gift, that there were many times that the faith community was so excited about him being
To latch on to him.
latch on, that nobody asked the hard questions. Nobody talked about accountability. Nobody talked about community around this individual. It's that, you know, we just come up and we become field Negroes. And, you know, we miss the bigger picture. We miss the Great Commission. And so, you know, so that is something that I think needs to be revisited even in our space of Christianity.
Because for us, when we identify that.
So I totally agree with Kirk Franklin, what he had to say. And it made sense because what Kirk Franklin was basically saying is in the Christian community. Now he's speaking on as in the Christian, say, entertainment community and just in general. He said in the Christian community, we really don't have a lot of heroes. And it made sense, right? Because you look at it, yes, you have your heroes within gospel music, right? But then outside of that, who, you know, not everybody will know who, you know, a Shirley Caesar is, right? Now, if you're not Christian, you're not going to know who Shirley Caesar is. If you're not Christian, you're not going to know who Yolanda Adams is, or Fred Hammond, or Bishop T.D. Jakes. Like, I mean, a lot of people are not going to know these prominent voices in the Christian culture, right? So he made sense by saying we don't really have a lot of heroes. Now I'm surprised he didn't say, but there's only one hero, and that is my Lord and Savior. No, I'm joking. But he could have said that because, you know, he's the mighty leader. But it made sense. It made sense to say, okay, we don't have heroes. So when you see someone like a Kanye West, right, who is a superstar nationally and internationally, to say that, hey, I'm a Christian, I believe it, you accept him so quickly without questioning and without any hesitation. I mean, look, Snoop Dogg did a full gospel album. Now, again, who am I to judge? That's how I look at it. And I think that's what I think Kirk could have said in his statement as well, is like, you know, this is a judgment-free zone. So yeah, Snoop Dogg did a gospel album. He did a gospel album with the Clark sisters, with Rance Allen. But guess what? Snoop was still in the back before performing gospel music, smoking a blunt and this and that. Now, again, I ain't gonna say in the Bible it say thou shalt not smoke marijuana. I'm not gonna say that because I don't want experts to come at me and say, well, technically it says. But I'm just saying, like, it's very true. They accept them so quickly before questioning their issues. Yes, Kanye West is an extremely talented individual, music-wise and business-wise. But please, you have to realize, y'all have to separate the art from the individual. You have to separate the art from the individual, because best believe R. Kelly is extremely talented, but he's also a perv as well. Bill Cosby is talented, but he nasty too. So I'm just saying, you have so many individuals that are talented, but guess what? You got to separate the art from the individual. The individual is a totally different person compared to what they do within. I mean, how many criminals are talented musicians? How many criminals are talented movie stars? How many individuals are talented at, I don't know, how many millionaires are criminal? How many billionaires are criminals? Again, you have to separate the art form from the individual. Now, I'm glad that someone like Kirk Franklin said this, because Kirk Franklin has such a huge, what's the word I'm looking for? voice in gospel music and in the Christian community. He has a huge platform and a huge voice. When you hear someone like him say what he just said, it's needed and it's important and it's perfect timing, being that it's election season. And I'm glad he acknowledged people like Donald Trump. And now let me continue on speaking from this article that I mentioned. So it says here, Kirk Franklin didn't hold back with his recent remarks about the Christian community. In recent interview with Cam Newton's Funky Fridays podcast, Kirk Franklin, who's 54, wow, I didn't know he's 54, didn't hold back sharply criticizing the Christian community in uncritical support of prominent figures like former President Donald Trump, who is currently running for re-election. Kirk Franklin quoted, sometimes when somebody acknowledges or says that they are Christian or represents their faith, everybody in the Christian community wants to jump on it. You also see that even in the white Christian community, if Donald Trump says that he is a Christian, then all the evangelicals vote for him, even though there are so many things about his life and lifestyles that are problematic to the Christian ideal. Now, Kirk Franklin went on to appears to be referencing Donald Trump's controversial history, including allegations of infidelity with an adult film actress, Stormy Daniels, and the subsequent denial his convictions for falsifying business records and being held liable for sexual assault, among other actions that may be viewed as inconsistent with Christian values. Now, there are a huge support system of white evangelicals in supporting of Donald Trump. Now, me personally, I think it's all about money over morals. Money over morals. And that's the sad part. Like I was listening to Roland Martin Unfiltered recently, and he had interviewed a black conservative pastor out of Texas who said, no, I will be supporting Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris. And which is rare because, again, evangelicals lean more Republican and conservative because of views, especially when it ties into their faith. Now, I was excited to really that people from the Christian community is saying, wait a minute, because in my mind, religion should not depict on different political parties, right? It should not. So I'm very excited, and well, I'm not very excited, but I'm happy that individual came out and said, wait a minute, enough is enough. That's not right. That's not okay. So again, to hear Kirk Franklin share those thoughts, and he didn't just say Donald Trump, he said Kanye West as well, who's very controversial. I mean, when you have guys with so much power and money, I mean, their surroundings are a bunch of yes people. Yes. And not people that are really trying to say, hold up, wait a minute. That's not right. Hold on. That's not okay. Come on, let's talk about this. That's not okay. So I'm thrilled. I'm happy that Kirk spoke about this, and it's very important. I think it could be a long going conversation that we will do on this program, because I have a bunch of friends that are ministers, that are bishops, some that you can consider controversial because they speak on community issues on their pulpit. A lot of people like to separate the church from state, but look, the community is everything, right? That's in politics, and when it comes to your pastors and leaders within, they're part of community leadership. So it's very important, and that's why you see so many local officials, state officials, people that are running for office, while they always appear at churches, because they know, for one, they hold huge numbers of people. Two, they can get their word and message across. Three, the church is full of the community, so you have to get involved. So again, kudos to Kirk Franklin. I'm actually thinking about getting some tickets to an upcoming show. He's coming to Hampton Roads in I think he's coming in September. It's him, Fred Hammond, Marvin Sapp, Clark Sisters, Yolanda Adams. I really want to see that concert, so I think I'm gonna get some tickets for that. But no, I was very excited that he mentioned that. I'm very excited that he had spoke on that, because I believe it's extremely important. And yeah, again, kudos to the legend Kirk Franklin, that is. And by the way, Kirk, man, is like yoked. He's been in the gym. I'm trying to get in shape like that. My wife and I, we're with a trainer now. We meet with him a couple days a week, and it's good. I'm not gonna lie, the working out part is not bad, but it's the eating, it's the dieting that sucks. Like, it's just, how hard is it to eat healthy? it's extremely hard because food is a drug, man. I'm telling you, there's some good food out there, desserts. Oh my goodness, it's hard. But anyways, let's move it on. Want to throw this out there. This could have been like a fun fact because I just found this out today. I thought it was pretty cool. Guess who is related to Stevie Wonder, Samuel Jackson, and Tracy Chapman? You want to take a guess? You want to take a guess? Huh? Okay, I'll tell you. Janet Jackson. And I'm not lying. She was on a recent interview, a radio interview, actually out in London. And you can Google it and go online and check out the actual video clip. But the gentleman was saying, let's talk about this famous family tree, because we're all familiar with just, her, obviously her brothers, Michael. Hold on, let me see if I remember the names. Michael, Jermaine, Tito, Marlon, Jackie. I know Rebe, Latoya, and then there's Janet. I forget if I forget some people. I don't know. I feel like I forget because I think I'm counting 8 kids. I thought they had like 10. I don't know. I'm forgetting. But anyway, those are the names that we're familiar with. But no, Janet says she reveals that her cousins on her mother's side is Stevie Wonder, and she said Samuel Jackson is also a cousin, and Tracy Chapman. Wow, talk about stars in that family, and talented too. I mean, so I wonder who's related. I wonder if Samuel Jackson is on. Well, he's on the father's side, because Samuel Jackson, that aggressive, those aggressive characters he plays in movies and stuff. Mother ever this and that and the other. I think that came from Joe Jackson. I already know that attitude, that tone, that came from Joe. I know. But Stevie Wonder is so nice and so sweet. Yeah, that definitely came from Catherine Jackson. You can tell. But I just thought that was pretty cool. So that was an extra fun fact of the day, by the way, because I already doing the first one early in the show. But yes, for those who didn't know, Janet Jackson is related to Stevie Wonder. Janet Jackson is related to Stevie Wonder, Tracy Chapman. Tracy Chapman had that hit song Fast Car that they recently did like not a reenactment. They recreated the song with country artist Luke Combs, and it's a dope song, dope album, and she's an amazing artist. So I just thought that was pretty cool. You never know. Makes me want to do a family tree. I hope I'm related to somebody like a billionaire. Like if I'm related to like Oprah, I'm gonna be like knocking, yo, Oprah, just want to let you know we cousins. And I do a lot of good in my community. Because at that time, Oprah was giving a lot of gifts, like cars and everything. I'm just trying to let them know. Maybe Ellen. Hopefully, I might be related to Ellen, because Ellen. I'm naming all people that gives gifts. What I'm trying to say, y'all. I'm to all the givers out there with money. Check your family tree. I might be related to you. I don't know. I'm hoping. But anyways, let's go moving on. Let's see. Do we have time for another commercial break? No. Okay, so because I gotta. Well, okay, no, I'll keep it going. So during the recent Paris Olympics, the recent Olympics that just went on, at the basketball game, I noticed that Colin Kaepernick was in attendance there, which I thought was pretty cool because I haven't really heard from Colin Kaepernick for quite some time. As you know, Colin Kaepernick, 7 years in the NFL, could have went longer, but because of his stance on injustice issues led to really him getting blackballed in the NFL. He took a knee during the anthem. All hell broke loose. People were like, oh, he disrespected the flag, this and that, which he was not, by the way. He even acknowledged that he asked ahead of time veterans, and said, look, what's a good way for me to really get my message across? And he said, no, do this. Because even taking a knee, what is so harmless about taking a knee? It's the most harmless protest position that you can possibly do. It's not like he ran and grabbed the flag and wiped his butt, he didn't do any of that stuff. He took a knee, and again, the world we live in, it ruined his NFL career, and he ended up not playing since. Now he did sue the NFL, got a good sum of money, and went on to become an activist, best-selling books, and also I think he signed an exclusive deal with Nike, which was $1 million deal, and it was really good. So he's still making his money, and it's a lot of great stuff is happening for him. But here's the interesting thing. Now, it's been a long time since Colin has played in the NFL. So let me grab this soundbite for you all, because he is still, hoping for a comeback. Now, I'm like, all right, Colin, I think we're, something has to be said. Somebody has to break it to him, right? Let's see here. Let me go ahead and play this soundbite for you. Give me 1 second, my friends.
We're still training, still pushing. So hopefully we just gotta get one of these team owners to open up.
What would it mean to you to play NFL again?
I mean, it's something I've trained my whole life for. So be able to step back on the field, I think that would be a major moment, major accomplishment for me. Also, I think it's something that I could bring a lot to a team and help them win a championship. We're still training, still pushing. So hopefully.
So Colin said we are still training, still pushing. Now, by the way, y'all, it's been nearly 8 years since the last time he played in NFL. Now, yeah, you can keep on training all you want, but it's a whole different monster. A lot of stuff happens in 8 years. A lot of stuff, the body ain't what it used to be in 8 years. Now, currently he's 36 years old, so not old, but in NFL, yes, that's retirement age already. So he's saying that, and this is reported by TMZ. He says he still wants to be back in the league, insisting he can still help a team win a Super Bowl. Again, he's talking a lot there, Cap. Come on, Hope, slow down there. Saying straight up, he's still training and still pushing to get back on the NFL roster. Now, he quoted, "We just got to get one of these team owners to open up." No team owner's going to open up, buddy. I won't even open up. I'm sorry. No. There's too many other young, talented, aspiring QBs out there. And again, I mean, there's guys that will be a free agent for 3 years max, and then they like, okay, I think it's time for me to, retire. I personally think, Cap, you're still a successful individual. You had a great career. No, it's not Hall of Fame worthy, but you're still very recognized, and I think you can just retire peacefully and respectfully. It says here that he last played in 2016 when he was at the night when he and the Niners lost to the Seahawks 25-23 on New Year's Day. Since that time, he felt he's been blackballed by the NFL owners for the way he protested police brutality and social inequality during national anthems. Now, Cap's been abandonment over the years that he can still play, getting his last formal workout in with a team when he threw passes for the Raiders in 2022. Now, at the time, Warren Moon told us he felt it would be a good fit, but Colin never got signed. Colin had an opportunity to, I don't know if it was during that same period or before then. There was a time where the NFL had, put together a workout at the Atlanta Falcons arena, and Colin didn't show. He ended up having to add a different high school, which to me, I felt like, what are you doing, sir? Why are you making your own requirements when they already they've like really put their work in with this workout? You had majority teams. You might have had maybe a couple of coaches show up at the high school workout. Like, what are you doing, right? Especially for somebody that's dying to get back into the league. That's just my 2 cents. Hey, look, like my opinion, love it. I don't, or just disagree. That's fine. But I'm just giving you my unfiltered opinion on that. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Cap will never play in the NFL. I don't mean saying this in a rude way, but it's been 8 years, buddy. You're 36 years old. It's not even a part now of like, oh, it's going to add controversy, because really it will bring a great story now to say, oh man, we haven't seen him in 8 years. Let's see how he does. It will be a great story. But teams, owners, man, they don't want to spend their money with that. Now you might can do another one with the Raiders, because the owner Davis loves a good title, a good way to garner crowds and attention. So does Jerry Jones of the Dallas Cowboys. He would love to encourage that. But are we going to be bringing back the whole controversy between the taking the knee during the anthem kind of thing? Would he stand this time? Like, we don't know. So it can go in 2 ways. I just personally don't think the career is ever going to be happening anytime soon. And I think he can maybe just become a commentator. Okay, become a commentator or do something else. But that dream, in my opinion, is long gone. Okay, so that's my true thoughts on the Colin Kaepernick story. My friends, look, we're gonna go do a commercial break. When we come back, we'll have more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Don't go anywhere, and do me a favor, don't change that dial. We'll be back more here on the Arrington Gavin Show.
Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Order our scented beard oils and beard balms to help you maintain and grow the perfect beard. Order today. Try our men's care products like the full body exfoliating cleansing bars, body wash, smooth stash, and more. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. We're your luxury but affordable men's care line. And remember,
Rugged is the new smooth.
All right, my friends, welcome back. Welcome back to the Arrington Gavin Show. I'm your guy, Arrington Gavin. Look, no shocker, my friends. Guess who? Oh man, sorry, I had to burp there. Guess who will not be appearing on the New York ballot? RFK Jr. Now, remember, recently I've spoken about RFK sharing that, hey, look, I will guarantee that we will be on all 50, we'll be on the ballots in all 50 states. You hear me? All 50 states. That's what he said. That's what he said. But sorry to break it to him, I know for sure that is one that he's not going to be on. That's New York City. Now, let me read a little more on the reason behind why he's blocked off the ballot, which he is going to be taking it to court and appealing it. But this is reported by the BBC. Says RFK Jr. denied New York ballot access over false address judge rules. Now, independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. does not meet the legal requirement of a New York resident and therefore cannot be on the state's election ballot, a judge has ruled. Now, Kennedy's claim of a New York address as his place of residence on nominating pensions was a false statement, says Judge Christina Ryba. As a result, the petitions were considered invalid. Now, Mr. Kennedy has rejected the judge's ruling and vows to appeal. If the ruling is upheld, it would not only bar Mr. Kennedy from the New York ballot, but could also lead to challenges in the other states where he uses that address. Now, Mr. Kennedy dismissed the ruling as a partisan attack and noted that the judge, as a Democrat, Robert, dude, you are a Democrat. Yes, you're independent, but what party were you running for initially? The Democratic Party. You're a freaking Kennedy, for crying out loud. So please spare me the whole she's a Democrat and she. Now look, and again, this guy's a conspiracy theorist as well. So well, let me not call him out, a name. He happens to believe in quite a number of he believes in some conspiracy theories. I mean, define him however you want to. Let me take that back, because I'm not that kind of person who want to define an individual because I don't know him. I don't know him personally. But he's saying that the judge is a Democrat. He quote, they aren't confident. They aren't confident. Damn, Arrington. They can win at the ballot box. So they are trying to stop voters from having a choice. We will appeal and we will win. Now, Mr. Kennedy, who's 70 years old, has argued in court that he considered New York his home since childhood and intended to return. He currently lives in California, which he moved in 2014 to be with his wife, Curb Your Enthusiasm actress Cheryl Hines. Now, in court, Mr. Kennedy sought to make the case that he has been renting a bedroom from a friend in Katona, roughly 40 miles north of Manhattan. Now, the friend, Barbara Moss, testified in court that she charges Mr. Kennedy $500 a month. She also said there was no written lease. So he got a female friend that charged him $500 a month north of Manhattan. $500 for a room. I mean, that still is pretty pricey just for a room, I guess. Yeah, I get it. I ain't trying to cause nothing, but you know, I'm just saying, like, a room for $500. Damn. But anyways, Mr. Kennedy also offered evidence of his residency by showing that he pays New York state taxes and has law practice in the state. Okay, so he has an argument there. He has a case. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that this is all a political or partisan attack kind of thing. Again, it sucks. I wish that they had all the candidates on the ballots, in my personal opinion, because there's like really a total of possibly 6 or 7 candidates, right? I mentioned Kamala Harris and obviously her VP pick. You have Donald Trump and his VP pick. You have RFK Jr. and his VP pick. You have Cornel West. You have Chase Oliver. You have Jill Stein. That's at least 6 right there that I wish they were considering having them on there. So that's the whole big issue happening right now as we speak. And let's see where that goes. Let's see how far it will. I will continue to follow up with you all on this story and see how more ballots he can get on. Moving on to our next story, because we're running short on time. I want to make sure I throw this out there. Check this out. Texas Democrat endorses U.S. Senator Ted Cruz. This is no joke, ladies and gents. Yes, Ted Cruz, that guy that kisses up to former President Donald Trump after I think he did insult his looks as well as his wife's looks, if I'm not mistaken. And now he's on the whole MAGA train. And yeah, he's an annoying guy, in my opinion. But he is up for re-election. And this is reported by the Texas, the centersquare.com in Texas. It says high profile Texas Democrats endorse Ted Cruz for Senate. It says here 3.5 years into an unprecedented border crisis impacting Texans impacting Texans in border communities and the state's largest cities, high-profile Democrats are openly endorsing a Republican candidate for Senate who they never endorsed before, and that's U.S. Senator Ted Cruz. Let me go ahead and fix this on the screen here. It's looking a little wacky. Okay. And so Cruz, a Houston Republican, is running for re-election for his 3rd term. He's being challenged by U.S. Representative Colin Kaepernick, a Dallas Democrat who is trailing in the polls. While Cruz has been characterized as polarizing or far right by those on the left, those on the right argues he's a conservative stalwart championing their causes: pro-life, supporting traditional marriage, women's rights, the Second Amendment, and school choice, among other issues. Now, it's funny when they say women's rights. I didn't know they fought for that. But anyway, differing on these views doesn't matter. Texas Democrats supporting Cruz argued that border security and combating crime are the top concerns. Totally agree. I would say this, my friends, and I am running low on time, but I would say this. The border is a top tier issue, especially for those that live near the border. Arizona, Texas, that is a huge issue. I think that it's nothing wrong that people on opposite sides endorse political figures or political officials from opposing sides. To me, that's I like that because I'm a believer in people over politics. I think that not everybody within their Democratic or within their parties should always say, I'm always going to just endorse them. No, or should feel anxious to endorse somebody outside their party. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's realistic. I don't think it's fair for voters and residents in their communities. So again, kudos to this individual that is endorsing Ted Cruz. It's a district attorney, by the way, Democrat Harris County District Attorney Kim Ong has repeatedly stood up to a progressive Democratic controlled Harris County. And so I think that's pretty interesting. I think that's pretty interesting. So let's see here. The last few minutes, I just want to say, guys, again, for those who are not registered to vote, please, 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 I cannot tell you how important it is to register to vote. Get registered and register to vote. It is crucial out here, and so much is at stake. And I'm trying to tell you, like, your voice matters. And for those who are just like saying, well, it's always a bunch of unmade promises being met and they don't care about us. They never cared about us. All they care about is aligning their own pockets and, stuff for their own political gain and so on and so on. No, that's not the case, y'all. That's not the case. You have got to do your own research. I myself am an independent. I'm not married to any party. Yes, I've spoken. I've criticized many times the Republican candidate for president because I'm not a fan of that individual. Okay, I'm not a fan of that individual. So this is not a partisan issue. This is a what's better for our democracy issue. Okay. Do I want somebody that brings more chaos to the world? Or do I want somebody that brings less chaos to the world? In my opinion, that's why I'm leaning on the opposing side. I'm voting for both parties on the local, state level. And don't get me wrong, if there was other Republican options, I would check them out and lean more regardless of who the candidates are. Really, I do my research on every single candidate. I'll do the same research about Chase Oliver representing the Libertarian Party, Jill Stein representing the Green Party, Cornel West running as an independent, as well as RFK, and then the Republican Democrat tickets. That's how I do. That's how I roll, and I encourage you all to do the same. Look here, my friends. Stay blessed. Take care. Be sure to tune in every evening. New episodes drop at the Arrington Gavin Show on all digital and streaming platforms, as well as weeknights at 11 p.m. on WDJY 99.1 FM out of Dallas, Georgia. And you can listen online on WDJYFM.com. Until next time, my friends, y'all take care. I'm out.